A little late this morning getting this out. It's Friday, May 29th, I believe. May 29th. These days just blend together. I know it's Friday, though, because the 1% at the national and local news media, I mean, they really are 1%. They get paid a lot of money to do the news on the air. I mean, I'm not talking about the reporters that are out in the street. They don't get paid as much. They still get paid better than most, but it doesn't matter. They all scream about how it's Friday, yay, it's Friday, when most of us say it's just another day because life is a struggle. They don't really understand. But anyway, it's Friday. If it's a Friday where Saturday and Sunday means a rest for you, I'm very happy for you. If it doesn't, I'm very sad. Let me adjust this just a touch. Oops, that's too much. There we go. Hope you're enjoying my lava lamp. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about this Trump Twitter blow up. And we're going to talk about, of course, George Floyd, everything going on. And finally, these paths have crossed. And I knew it was coming. I mean, Donald Trump hadn't been saying anything. I mean, it seems Donald Trump doesn't speak up about anything once a African American is killed. He doesn't really care, it seems. I could be wrong. He may care deeply. Somehow I doubt it. You decide for yourself. So, oh my, I forgot my glasses. Here we go. This Trump Twitter blow-up has gotten way out of hand, if you haven't noticed. After saying Twitter could not censor people, Trump then retweeted a guy who said, the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat. And then it was in a video. And then he went on to say, of course, I mean that in a political way. You can't do that. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. It's just me and you, right? If I said, oh, you know what? Let's say it. The only good Donald Trump is a dead Donald Trump. The only good Donald Trump is a dead Donald Trump. Of course, I mean that politically. So let me ask you, how long is it going to be before the FBI knocks on my door and asks me what I mean? So why should Donald Trump or anybody else get away with it? Just saying that. I may end up in prison. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure the FBI may show up at my door. And then we can go on from there. More tweets. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. Now, Twitter deleted this tweet because it incites violence. And Donald Trump lost it. Trump tweeted that either the very weak radical left mayor Jacob Frey get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. Let me just say, short of violating posse comitatus, and I want you guys to look that up, POSSE, I believe. I haven't seen it in a while, but I believe that's the spelling. It's an act that forbids the military from acting on U.S. property. The military cannot be called up on U.S. property. That's what the National Guard is. Now, they call it the National Guard, but the governors have the say in it. The president does not. So if anybody's going to call the National Guard, it'll be the governor, not the president. The president does not have the power. When he says, we will take care of it for him, or is that what he said? He said, and get the job done right. I don't know. He can't do it. The president can't do it without violating the law. This is a very, very important act. Posse comitatus. Everybody should know about this. I once went into my congressman's office, and I believe at the time it was it Bush? Bush 2? Or was it during Donald Trump's time? I believe it was during Bush 2's time when he was going to have the military boots on the ground in the United States. And I went to my congressman's office and I said, this is a violation of posse comitatus. How can they do this? And she said, not my congressman, the person who worked for my congressman, she said, what's posse comitatus? And I'm like, oh my God, this person's working for my congressman and they don't know what posse comitatus is. Anyway, beyond that, I really respect the people that work in my congressman's office. They do a great job. The woman I'm talking about in particular is extremely intelligent and she knows more about government than most people. She just didn't happen to recognize posse comitatus. So honestly, she's better than 99.9% of anybody out there. I'm an odd one. I know everything about government. So anyway, he went on to say, these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd. Do you really think Donald Trump cares about dishonoring the memory of George Floyd? I mean, come on. An African-American man, a poor African-American man. Do you really think that Donald Trump cares? I ask you that. No, he doesn't give a crap. It's just a political thing to say. Anyway, these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Again, Donald Trump. No, the military is not with him all the way. The military cannot have boots on the ground in the United States, you moron. Please take a civics class. Jeez, Donald Trump is, oh my God, he's just so frustrating. With him all the way. Any difficulty and we will assume control. The military cannot assume control. President Donald Trump cannot assume control. It's against the Constitution. It's against posse comitatus. You can't do it. And then he went on to say, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, which is a quote, an old quote from a governor, a racist governor back in the day. And I can't, it escapes me. I'd have to Google it. What happened when this governor called out the National Guard. But it was a nasty event. Anyway, we'll move on from there. There doesn't seem to be an end to the George Floyd riots. In Minneapolis, a police station, well, this is actually an empty police station. I guess it may have been a former police station, was burned to the ground, along with cars in the area and other buildings, and there was some more looting going on. And people complain about the looting, but I see the anger. I understand the anger. There's a lot of anger, and I understand it completely. It looks like a war zone there. Businesses on fire, cars on fire. This is really a systemic problem with the police, and this is why these riots are going on all over the country, because this never stops. There's messages tagged on buildings, with spray paint saying "kill cops." I saw it on the news, and still going on this morning. Riots going on this morning. The police and the National Guard seem to have things under control, so it's not as bad. But among this, I don't know if you saw this, a CNN reporter and his crew were arrested. I should say something that's kind of important. This CNN reporter was African American. They were arrested on air while they were broadcasting on CNN. This is insane. The governor apologized. He was arrested by state police. The governor apologized, and the governor should apologize, and CNN should file suit immediately. And I fully expect CNN to file suit. I mean, if that doesn't happen, I'm just going to be shocked, because CNN cannot let this lie. They cannot allow governors to think that they can arrest reporters on the scene who he identified himself as a reporter on camera, and then the state police arrested him. Oh my God. This is just insane. Now, I had thought about talking about Breonna Taylor yesterday, but I didn't. And now that's going on. In Louisville, 7 were shot over protests of the killing of Breonna Taylor. That's Taylor spelled with an O. This is one where officers entered someone's home and may or may not have identified themselves to everyone, and then shot her dead as her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, defended the home. He didn't hear anybody identify themselves. These were just guys that busted down the door. And by the way, they found nothing. So Breonna Taylor was shot dead. Another African American shot dead for no reason because of police misconduct. The police have not been charged. They haven't even been fired. So you can understand why there's more outrage. It keeps happening. By the way, Mr. Walker was arrested. They have released him since, pending the investigation, because apparently there was enough outrage. So the only way we can, apparently, it seems like the only way we can trust the police is if we're outraged every single time we run into them. Let me remind you of my history that I spoke of yesterday. I was arrested illegally by the police. They rather not illegally. They had the legal right to do it, but they didn't have a reason to do it. They were lying about it. And the judge found that out, and boy, was it a big stink. I was thrown in jail for a few weeks. I've had LAPD pull my car over with guns drawn. And I'm not even African American. I'm Hispanic. Everybody thinks I'm white because I'm a pale Hispanic. My mother was Dominican. So where were we? Okay. They've released Mr. Walker, and there are many questions. But since the police murdered one of the witnesses, Breonna Taylor, I'm supposing those questions are going to go unanswered. And the question remains, why haven't the murderous cops who murdered George Floyd arrested? And we saw a new angle yesterday. There were 3 cops kneeling on him. 3 cops kneeling on him while one watched. This is amazing. I mean, the fact that they are not arrested is just baffling. It's baffling, completely baffling. If anybody else had done it, they would be arrested and held in jail pending the investigation. They wouldn't be released pending the investigation. The unfairness of cops getting away with murder, even temporarily, is wrong. Absolutely wrong. These cops should be in prison right now, being held pending the investigation, just like anybody else. Sure, give them a $2 million bail. Let them post bail, just like anybody else is required to, pending the investigation. I was in jail, pending the investigation. Actually, not pending the investigation, pending the outcome of the court. It took me 2 years to fight that, by the way. The police lying. Buena Park police calling you out again. You are friggin' criminals. So why haven't those murderous cops of George Floyd been arrested? And why haven't the murderous cops of Breonna Taylor been arrested? Excuse me. Why haven't they been fired? They haven't even been fired. That's insane. Okay. So, I guess we can move on. There's more to come on this. There's going to be more riots. There's going to be more National Guard. There's going to be tonight, Friday night. You think there's not going to be problems on Friday night? Somebody check and see if there's going to be a full moon tonight. There's going to be serious problems tonight. There's going to be some shootings. There's going to be fires. There's going to be National Guard. I wouldn't be surprised if police are kidnapped and held. All sorts of stuff is going to happen tonight. It's Friday night. So we should move on. I guess we can move on to coronavirus news. Lassen County, California. Lassen County. Early May, late April or early May, they were complaining. They said, let's see, the lawmakers in Lassen County said there shouldn't be one-size-fits-all restrictions. They were lacking in corona cases compared to Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is overpopulated. Lassen County, California has 300, what is it, 300,000 or 30,000? I don't know. They just don't have a lot of people. Maybe it's 300,000 for a county. So they said, one size fits all doesn't work for us. We should be allowed to open. So they opened. That was in early May. The governor said, oh, okay. You think you can open? You think you could open safely? Go ahead. Guess what? Lassen County just closed. They started getting a spike in cases. It's funny that Republican State Senator Brian Dahle, D-A-H-L-E, Dahle, I believe it's pronounced. We're not like Los Angeles or San Francisco. Let's get back to cooler heads. Let the people be free. Republicans, what are you going to do? You can't live with them. You can't kill them. I'll probably get a visit from the FBI for that, too. So apparently Brian Dahle was wrong because they got a spike in corona cases. And meanwhile, I want to move to New Zealand. Have you seen this? In the entire country of New Zealand, they had a lockdown early. In the entire country, they have one coronavirus case. I would love to live in New Zealand right now. Newly announced, related to the coronavirus, a couple of things. People are throwing out their stimulus checks, which are actually cards. They're like credit card looking debit card or whatever. People are throwing them out, not because they don't want the $1,200, because they look like advertising. They look like junk mail. So people have been throwing them out. Oh, that's so sad. I mean, I laugh, but this is really horrifying, actually. Boy, I'd like to come across a trash pile right now, wherever that's happening. And newly announced in Los Angeles, and I've been talking about this for a couple of days. I mean, people are falling behind in rent. People are getting evicted. You can't evict in Los Angeles right now, but it doesn't matter. If you're 4 months behind in rent, how are you going to catch up? You're not a one percenter. Most people are not one percenters. That's why 99% of us are not one percenters. I'll say that honestly. 99% of us are not one percenters. So they announced this rent assistance program. It could help up to 80,000 Los Angeles families. Garcetti said, "We will take this coming month to make sure when this program stands up at the end of June or beginning of July, we are ready. And those who qualify could potentially receive $1,000 per month for up to 2 months, $2,000 maximum. And the checks would be issued directly to landlords." I'm okay with this. I'm completely okay with this. You know, even if they've been paying all along, but just barely scraping by, send those checks to the landlords. That'll give them a couple of months to catch up. So I'm completely okay with this. If I could get qualified for this, I would love to give my landlord $2,000. I mean, lately he's been quite the jerk and not understanding of what's going on, but I do understand where he's coming from. And also, possibly related, but not really, people stuck at home, they're saying we're sick of being stuck at home. So camper vans and RV sales are up. People want to get out on the road. They want to get away from home. They got a lot of time off, you know. And I see this as a good thing. And let me tell you why. In a year or two, when this is all over, and people are saying, "God, man, we spent all this money on this camper van. We got bills to pay." Suddenly, these camper vans and these RVs are going to be put on the market. And that's going to be good for all these people getting evicted, because they'll have a place. They may be able to take those stimulus checks and buy a camper on a discount, or an RV on a discount, and live in that. Other than that, I guess I'll close on the Falcon 9 rocket. As you know, the launch was scrubbed on Wednesday. The launch was scrubbed on Wednesday because of weather-related issues, and rescheduled for Saturday, but it looks like the weather is keeping up their weather-related issues. Saturday or Sunday are the possibility for the launch, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen either day. It might be another week. I don't want them to take any chances on this. But that seems to be it. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Anybody who listens to this or watches it on YouTube. I'm Peter Lawrence, reporting from Los Angeles.